Thoughtless Jester back again with a beautiful 1981 Atlas of the World from National Geographic. Forward by Gilbert Hovey Grosvenor. Grosvenor means great hunter. It's a French name. Comes from the descendant of Hugh Le Grosvenor, who was a master huntsman and oversaw the estate of William the Conqueror. Oftentimes a Grosvenor owns or runs a hunting estate for a lord. He was born a twin in Constantinople, which is Istanbul. His twin brother's name is Edwin, who was also a historian and went to the same Amherst College as Gilbert did. Funny enough, Amherst College's spokes saying is Terras Irradiant, which is enlighten the land. His daughter was married to Alexander Graham Bell. No, his son was married to Alexander Graham Bell's daughter. That's the story, which is kind of interesting connections. Gilbert has the foreword in this book. Get a good once-over from Gilbert. He wrote this back in 1963, passed away in 1966. But I'm just going to read through it and give you my ideas. The first sentence, he hits you with fear, red fear, hit that fear hard. Human history becomes more and more a race between education and catastrophe. Let's use H.G. Wells because we couldn't be any more ironic about this. Toward virtual scientific and technological illiteracy. That was a quote, I believe he snaked from H.G. Wells. Mentions the Soviets, the Japanese, and the Germans are getting better at school stuff and learning than us, therefore we are stupid. The next sentence goes on, you're American and you're dumb. Next sentence talks about overpopulation. Let's get into that. Actually, it's B in this. There's too many people on Earth and we need to have less of them. It kind of reminded me, reading this, reminded me of that speech by that young lady during the beauty pageant when she's talking about U.S. Americans such as therefore. That's kind of like this little statement just reminded me of that. Anyway, it's like almost like he's talking about her in particular. Number 4 on this was the topographic ocean data. It really puts over, it's like we got this topographic ocean data. It's so amazing. All the oceans have been mapped out of the Earth. It's let's see if I can find a picture of it. There it is. All the oceans of the Earth have been mapped out. Okay, look, it's in strips. So they did it with an airplane, probably with airplane sonar is my guess. How would you know that? All this information, the entire Atlantic Ocean, and you guys discovered that, but nobody's bothered to find out what's going on in Greenland or Antarctica, right? We don't have any ideas of the topographic nature, but underneath the ocean, thousands of feet below the ocean floor or below the ocean on the floor, we know what it looks like down there. Don't worry about it. It's like, come on, dude. Next, he gets into global warming. Even though it's 1963, we're still hitting on that note. We got to make sure we mention that shit's going awry and it's your fault. Global warming, blah, blah, blah. Then he goes on to, he's like really excited about these unproven theories. I'm going to see if I can find them here really quick. First published, more about China. Actually, they mention here that we're not as racist as we were last year. I do want to mention this. Subsequent editions have expanded detail and coverage. In this 5th edition, China and Southeast Asia, for example, have accorded a little bit more space. Isn't that nice of them? They give a little bit more space to China and Southeast Asia. Not because we considered them less than human before 1963, and now we've just finally let them into the possibly human population. Anyway, I'm reading too much into this. Topographic data. Let's see. Oh yeah, here we go. In a few years since this atlas was published, knowledge about our planet and universities has undergone a revolution. Big Bang explanation. That's not the truth. It's an explanation of the origin of our universe. That means it's not real. And the theory of plate tectonics. Also, a theory means a guess, which means not proven. But they're widely accepted. So, and then guess who he gets into next? Our favorite. NASA did this stuff, so therefore you have to believe me. So, therefore. And he's like, he actually mentions in this, I'm going to go on, there's astonishing detail that we wouldn't have been able to get without space travel. And here's that astonishing detail of space travel. They're fucking cartoons. And he's just like talking about how amazing these discoveries are. These aren't discoveries. These are cartoon guesses based off of that, which is a real map of our sky. Super interesting. Bam. And that's in here. And I was super surprised to see it in here. It's actual real data that you can use based on the clock and the timeline in the southern, quote, and northern hemispheres. But this is the southern hemisphere, and some of the places, the locations here are the same. Sagittarius, as in the northern. But if you're on the opposite side, how could you see the same stars? You couldn't. Anyway, I digress. Let's go back to this wonderful statement by this brilliant mind who wasn't a master of mind control at all. He was here to help us. So now he talks about the authority of information and actually says those words. Recognize the significance of this new information has expanded my own concept of the world. That means he was an idiot before all this, but now whew, he's been set in the right direction. Good thing. Good thing. And then he kind of talks about how the cartoons are awesome. Thanks, Gilbert. Thanks for that. These cartoons are awesome. And then finishes off with a little bit more fear. No single organization can win the race against catastrophe. So we're all fucked, is what he's saying. But we can supplement our efforts of the efforts of other educators to eradicate the scientific, political, and geographic illiteracy. That is the most ironic statement in this entire book. But it's not the most ironic picture because there's tons of nonsense in here. I recommend checking it out. It's definitely worth it. He finishes off this whole spiel with a statement about how you're tiny, useless, and under his control. If we can, and so he says, and if we can, at the same time, stimulate an interest, no, a fascination with this planet, its peoples, and its setting in the universe, meaning you're minus a human. You're so small and tiny and useless. We shall feel our efforts have been well spent. Well, Gilbert, your efforts have been well spent in giving me this beautiful statement to read to my audience in a way that they will appreciate, because we all know you are completely full of shit. You are a horrible human that has bonus coverage on my 1981 Atlas. I just wanted to read this first statement. It goes on about the solar system, our sun's family. So like playing on words, our sun's family. And then get right into the first statement. Born in a violent death. Born in a violent death. All caps. I'm not even going to continue reading this nonsense. I just wanted to get that little bit out because it's kind of funny. Also, bonus coverage. My favorite planet. More super fantastic bonus coverage from the super fantastic realistic Atlas from 1981, where they knew all the truths about our reality and about where we exist. You can tell because they got these awesome cartoons. That's how it is. I know we've never actually checked, but we're pretty sure. Shockwaves from the earthquake change direction and speed, so therefore we know. And then there's some Taurus action. Van Allen belts. Yeah, I know we went to the moon, but now we don't have the technology to go there. We used to, but we lost it, and it's a painful process to build it back again. Sure hope we can get out of this low Earth orbit. Where's the moon in this? I thought the moon was in our low Earth orbit. Oh yeah, they changed their mind about that. So this is what the, remember we were talking, we talk about gravity sometimes, and we were wondering, like, you know, that second law of thermodynamics, how important that is. Well, there it is right there. Blah, 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 boom! There's your explanation. It's a rainbow-colored line, and if you don't like it, you're a bigot. Rainbow-colored lines defeat the second law of thermodynamics every time. And if you don't agree with me, you're a bigot. So realistic. You know it's real because it looks so fake. Look at those jet streams, how much sense they make. But if you put them on an AE map, they actually make a ton of sense. Truth in reality. Look at that. That's how it all works. Summer, spring, fall, putting it all together, and then the creme de la creme, plate tectonics as designed on our globe Earth, perfectly put together, except what's this? Sea level? I've never heard of a level C? What are they? What? Where's Antarctica?